Well, here we are with my 2007 Honda Accord. I haven't made a video on it in quite some time, so I thought I would just give an update on it. I actually have some time to make videos now since we're currently in the era of social distancing, and most of my work, well, really all of my work, is in the gig economy, so to speak, between rideshare and performing arts. So I have a lot of time. Let's go ahead and just jump inside. Nothing's really changed, although it is kind of dirty. Could use a little bit of cleaning. Let's go ahead and turn it on to neutral. As of right now, I'm sitting at 171,118 miles. So since I've had the car, I've put, I guess, just a little under 30,000, like 28,000 miles on it. And it's been pretty good. We'll go into some repairs I've had to do in a minute. And just looking around, I haven't really changed anything cosmetically. I'm still using the Type R shift knob. I have a total of 4 knobs for this car, but I've settled on this one as my favorite. I still have the original one. It's a little bit scratched up. Take a peek in the back seat. Again, nothing really different back here. Definitely not the same legroom as the current 10th generation Accord, but it's still reasonable. And you'll notice right here, the headliner is starting to sag a little bit. So I guess there is one small change back here from age, but I'm not really concerned with that. Here's a shot of the front from the back seat. Just last week I put new rear brakes on it, new pads, and I also replaced the rotors. The dealership I bought the car from back in 2017 did the rear brakes on this, but I'm guessing they may not have used the highest quality of brake pads, so I put some decent ones on, and I actually spent well under $100 for the parts. I was really surprised at how inexpensive the brakes were for this car, at least the rear brakes. Unfortunately, it looks like we're starting to get some rust here on the rear driver's side wheel well. It looks worse than it is because I tried messing with it to see if I could make it look any better, but I just made it look worse. So obviously I'll keep an eye on that. I guess we'll just do a walk around. It does have daytime running lights, but since I started the car with the parking brake set, they're not on at the moment. Still running on the Continental Control Contact Sport tires. It's an all-season performance tire. Might need new tires maybe next year or so. I think they're down to maybe 6/32 in the tread. Passenger side. And actually, the passenger side rear wheel well seems to be rust free, so that's good. It's only on the driver's side. And of course, new brakes. Again, pretty easy to do. And again, a little bit of rust coming through the surface right here. There was some right here already when I bought the car, but it looks like it is spreading a little bit. But anyway, this is the 3-liter J30A5 V6 24 valve single overhead cam. It's rated at 244 horsepower and 211 pound-feet of torque. And I've done a few things under here since I last filmed it. This battery is new as of November, I want to say, last fall, November 2019. The radiator is actually new. Last fall I was driving one morning, the car started overheating and it was spilling coolant everywhere. Luckily I was a short drive from my mechanic, so I just let it cool down for maybe half an hour and then drove it to his shop. And they said it was overheating because it was low on coolant, which I already knew, and they said that's because the radiator went bad. So new radiator. Also, a couple months before that happened, I noticed that there was a slight coolant leak coming from somewhere, and I'm not sure if this was related to the radiator going bad, but I put a new radiator cap on it and that didn't fix it. So it was actually this rubber tube right here that connects the overflow container to the radiator cap itself. It was just leaking right here. So easy fix, got the part at the dealer, very inexpensive. According to the Carfax report, the previous owner did do a timing belt and water pump service back in 2014. I think it was at 106,000 miles, so I still have some time left on that, but probably around 210,000 miles, I'll probably have to do another timing belt. I replaced the O-ring here in the power steering pump. Looks like it's leaking a little bit, but it was making noise, which it is not anymore. Let's see what else. I know these Honda and Acura V6s are kind of known for destroying motor mounts as they age, but I haven't really seen any signs of that yet, so we're good there. I started running high mileage oil in this engine just because, you know, it has 170,000 miles on it and it's 13 years old, but it still doesn't seem to burn any oil, which is really great. As far as I know, all of the struts are original. I can tell the ride is kind of on the soft side, but I'll probably leave them alone until they actually need to be replaced. I'm not sure if the spark plugs are original or not. I think you're supposed to do that with the timing belt and water pump service, but I'm not sure if they were actually done. I'll probably look into doing that myself. Obviously, it's pretty easy to get to the front 3 spark plugs, and actually these back 3, you might be able to get to them without pulling the intake off, so that could be pretty convenient. I also forgot to mention with the new radiator, there's also new coolant in here. A couple oil changes ago, I noticed the maintenance minder item number 5 came up, which is replace coolant, so that's done now. And I think that's really about it. Oh, front brakes were done 2 years ago. They're still fine. The front sway bar links were replaced last year. I guess they were shot, needed that to pass state inspection. I think this is actually still the original windshield on the car, but it still seems to be working fine. Obviously, I put new wiper blades on it when necessary. And let's see here. This display still works. So even at this point, I feel like I could probably still daily drive this car. It still seems to be in very good shape. It's been quite reliable. I mean, really the only modern features that shows this car's age, at least, or I should say modern features that this car is lacking. No Bluetooth, so no phone hands-free connectivity. Like I said earlier, no auxiliary or USB import. No rear view camera anywhere, although you could obviously go to the aftermarket for that. And somewhere else where this car shows its age, like, arguably in a good way, is this still has hydraulic power steering. It's very heavy, especially at low speeds. That's just, you don't really get that in new cars anymore. All right, well, let's go for a little drive. I figured out a way to clip the GoPro onto the sunshade on the sunroof, so we'll see if this holds up. being a naturally aspirated engine, compared to the 2-liter turbo in the new Accord, horsepower wise it's rated about the same. This is 244, the new one is 252, but the torque is the huge difference. This is 211, the new one is 273, and you really feel that in the, you know, low and mid range. Brakes are working just fine. Didn't run into any issues replacing the rear brakes. This is the kind of design though where the parking brake is connected to the caliper. There aren't brake shoes on the rear brakes for the parking brake. It's all connected to the caliper. So basically when you pull the handbrake, it's just squeezing the rear pads. Open the windows and we'll get a little VTEC pull in a tunnel here. Probably won't be terribly impressive since this car is all stock, no exhaust or intake or anything, but we'll see what it sounds like. All right, first gear. Serious? That's a terrible on-ramp. I think I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon here. My GoPro is running low on battery, and I'm also shooting in 4K for the first time, so I don't know if that puts more of a strain on the battery or not. I'm still using the GoPro Hero 5 Session to film, which isn't really known for having great battery life in the first place, but I'm still going to use it for now because that's what I have. Alright, let's find a place to just pull over. Yeah, this should do it. All right, 2020 update on the 07 Honda Accord 6-speed sedan. Thanks for watching and stay healthy.